Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is March 29th, and today we're taking a look at this system that's going to roll through the area tomorrow morning, bring some cold air aloft across the region. A Puget Sound Convergence Zone will set up and bring some locally higher snowfall amounts through the Washington Cascades. So you're going to get some snowfall around other areas of the higher terrain across the Pacific Northwest as well. And we're going to take a look at the extended as well, because it looks like it's going to remain active. It looks like we're going to have systems moving through next weekend and potentially a stronger system early next week. It's a little bit off in fantasy land, but the models are in good agreement with it. Taking a look at the infrared satellite imagery here, you can see this low pressure spinning over the southwest USA here. It brought some thunderstorms all the way up towards eastern Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Southern California yesterday. And this will eventually spawn that severe weather today across the Great Plains, and that'll push off to the east and bring some severe weather to the southeast, where there is a significant tornado threat for tomorrow. So jumping into the rest of the country, you can see high wind warnings across the Great Plains. There's red flag fire danger, some critical fire danger potential across Texas and Oklahoma panhandles into southwest Kansas. Checking this out here. This is really an extreme fire setup. Just needs a spark in this area for some really erratic fires to break out. So if you are in that area, you know anybody in that area, you just have a heads up for that fire danger. You can see it highlighted here in the Dodge City National Weather Service discussion. Some gusts to 60 miles per hour with relative humidities down around 10% in some cases. So heads up for that area. And looking off into the southeast, you can see there's a moderate risk tomorrow. Significant tornadoes are possible. New Orleans is under the gun again. Last week they had that strong tornado roll through the area, and they're under the gun again. So heads up if you're traveling to that area or you know people down there. This system is pretty mean looking. And what's going on with that? You can see this low pressure that's over the southwest here, this very cold air aloft at 18,000 feet. So it brings that severe threat across the region here today for the Great Plains. And you'll see this gradient that just sets up across the southeast there. This really cold air aloft is just going to be marching over this really warm subtropical air with a lot of moisture to it. Some really good, powerful shear. And that's going to spawn that chance of significant tornadoes across the region there. So here we're looking at that moisture here. This is bringing the severe threat this evening across the plains. And then you'll see this really deep, rich moisture riding out in front of that system as it moves across the region tomorrow. So heads up down there, people. Dangerous day, possible significant tornadoes. And checking out the soundings, you see the big turning with height, powerful winds, very moist air mass, unstable, really powerful low-level shear, really powerful low-level instability. And you can see in the sounding, the hazard mentions tornadoes. So taking one more look at that fire danger, you can see that the extent of that really dry air moving across the Great Plains to the Texas, Oklahoma Panhandle, southwest Kansas. Now looking back towards Pacific Northwest, here's our cold air out here over the ocean. This is going to march our way and bring us some of our mountain snows tomorrow, and that potential for a lightning strike across some portions of the region, mainly the Puget Sound Convergence Zone or northeast Washington. And checking out that lightning potential, the Europeans kind of been waffling back and forth. It's been showing a little bit higher lightning potential at times on some of the runs. But some of the runs, it's just barely been showing a blip there. Northeast Washington, it's possible. Really any shower that popped up, really Willamette Valley North could see a lightning strike in it. It doesn't take that much this time of the year. The sun's getting a little bit stronger. Any kind of sun break could help spawn a lightning strike. Now looking at the Cape here on the NAM3 cam, you can kind of see it set up across the central Puget Sound a little bit into Willamette Valley, northeast Washington there. So that's what's going to bring us our lightning potential tomorrow. Not a big convection event here coming up though. So checking out the frontal system going through Wednesday morning, you can see it here on the NAM3 KM, generally light precipitation amounts, maybe higher amounts north, Everett north there as this frontal system swings through. Then the convergence zone kind of sets up across the central sound. That will enhance some local rainfall amounts. This will bring bigger snowfalls to central Cascades too. And you can see a few moderate showers. Maybe you might have a lightning bolt in them during the afternoon tomorrow into the evening. And again, for portions of eastern British Columbia, northeast Washington here as we go on in through Wednesday, as the convergence zone finally dies as you go into Thursday morning, and there's still some residual showers along the coast. And checking out the wrap to kind of see if that agrees, you can see the frontal system come through here on the day Wednesday, and there goes that convergence zone setting up across the central sound. It's going to locally enhance snowfall, like I said, across the region or central Washington Cascades there as well. So the wrap agrees generally there, and it does build some cape as we go on into Wednesday afternoon. Not a lot of it, but you can see that portions of British Columbia and Western Washington generally do have a lightning threat tomorrow, although very, very slight. And checking out the temperatures aloft, this is 10,000 feet. Watch as this cold air just kind of barrels over the region here, this really chilly air. This is what's going to bring us our wintry weather to the higher terrain tomorrow, as well as a little bit of unstable air across the region. Now looking at the wrap Kuchera snowfall amounts, you see that bullseye across the central Puget Sound. Looks like some areas might get over 6 inches here. I think it's calling, yeah, there's some areas even over 9 inches as well. A little bit down, you can see Mount Hood bullseye a little bit, a couple inches for them. Oregon Cascades, Olympus is going to get a little dusting there too. You can see British Columbia, generally the winners, as well as the central Puget Sound here. Now we're going to look out a little bit further here. You can see, I'm going to move us on into this weekend here. As you can see, a system comes through on Friday evening here, and you can see the Gulf of Alaska low starts getting established. And then as we go into early next week, a more powerful low moves towards southeast Alaska, and a pretty strong gradient moves across much of the Pacific Northwest. Be a pretty dynamic storm in this setup here too. So we're going to watch this one closely. You can see this deep low pressure really barrels in all the way across Canada there and sets up that gradient. So we'll watch that one closely, as well as another storm system on its heels, what we're getting out into fantasy land here. So we'll take things one step at a time, but I do want to look at this extended here. This is the mean ensemble run here. So it does agree that Gulf of Alaska low is going to become established here into our extended, and a strong gradient will set up on the south side of that. So good model agreement right now. So we'll watch that as we go on into the future here. Checking out SeaTac, you'll notice how it kind of bullseyed that time frame here with some gusts into the 40 mile per hour range. One of the ensembles had low 50s. But this will probably become more clear, of course, as we get closer to the event. So we'll watch that roll in. And you can see precipitation amounts would be higher with that event as well. You can see the one moving through Wednesday morning, generally light amounts for SeaTac. Probably going to be higher up in that convergence zone over the main Seattle area, and potentially higher as you go a little bit further north, maybe between Seattle and Everett, where that initially sets up. Checking out temperatures, you can see how we remain below average generally all the way through early next week. And then maybe we'll get some nice weather after that, but that's getting way out there. We'll have to see how that sets up. And also in between these systems, we can get a nice day. You know, 57 is not bad for this time of year for Seattle. And so enjoy today. It might not be too bad out there, but then we're going to cool down a bit. But even in between some of these systems, we can get a warmer day out of here, kind of unexpectedly, or something that doesn't show up until about 48 hours in advance. And then maybe we'll get some warmer weather as we move in through early and mid-April. So yeah, convergence zone tomorrow for Puget Sound. Higher elevation snowfall, mainly central Cascades. I know a lot of people are out in the backcountry this time of year, kind of targeting between Stevens and Snoqualmie. There's a lot of hikes out there, so heads up if you're going out there, don't get caught off guard. And always check the Northwest Avalanche Center as well. And it looks like the pattern is going to remain active all the way into next week, so we will continue to watch that as we go here for the Pacific Northwest. Getting into springtime here, though, and so the windstorm season is dying down, but it looks like we're going to get one more shot of it with that system that moves through about 6 days from now. So we'll keep our eyes on that. Hope you guys are having a good day. Leave any comments or feedback below, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.